Yo. What's up, guys? Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? How we doing? I gotta post this on Discord real quick. There we go. What up, guys? How we doing? It's good to be back. AMC, what up, Amy? Look at this fucking wedge. Mother of a wedge. It is breaking down a little bit here. We do have Ethereum Classic going up, so that is really good news. Even though the stock is going down right now, I do see it going up to 15 in a couple of days. This week for sure. But we'll talk about it, man. I got quite a lot to go over. Should be updating. I think we're just stuck at 4 or at 1174. Oh shit, you're right. Let's see, okay, there we go. My bad. I don't know why I did that. I was like, wait, you're right. You're right. It's not at 1174. Okay, cool. There we go. Should be updated now. CJ, DRNO, what's up? Mr. Simon, Alfredo, Ape, Cartel, Aldo, what's up, dude? MCon, Mike, what up, man? What are you guys up to? What are we up to, man? Okay. What is up? Stankster, Alex. What up, dudes? I got quite a lot here that I'm tracking as well, inverse to AMC. So we'll go ahead and bring up this chart right here. So this is Ethereum Classic, and you guys already know how this works. Typically, Ethereum Classic is ahead. It does go, it's vice versa though, because, you know, back here we had Amy go up and then Ethereum Classic follow. So I think here, what we're looking at, right, we had a wedge here in crypto, in the crypto space, right, with Bitcoin and all these guys. There is a wedge breakout happening right now. Okay, so this, okay, it's finally breaking to the upside. And I think Amy, okay, since stocks work a little bit different, we know that they don't run 24/7. So right now we have what is a liquidity transfer that is happening, I believe. There might be a higher push up on Ethereum Classic, and that would be great because what we're looking at for this week is 15. Okay, so we're looking at 15 bucks. I'm going to pull up the point of interest that I'm tracking. So this is the little point of interest chart here. You can tell that It's been following it pretty nicely. Did have this macro wedge here, and it's looking to bounce off of what is this fib level, okay? So the way we do that is, got a little fib chart here, okay? And it's the 618, all right? Now, typically with these, remember, okay, these aren't going to be exact when they come and bounce, okay? There is a little bit of room sometimes where it does go in, and then it makes this sort of like, you know, V reversal. So I'm expecting possibly here with the market, depending on what the market does, I do see a rally happening. But if we come into this channel very quickly and then bounce, V setup, okay, we'll get that 618, and then we'll continue on this wedge. And then the top of this wedge here, okay, this is the first resistance. The second one would be right here, okay? That's the first one. The second one would be right down here. It would look a little bit like that. And I think this one would actually make a little bit more sense. Okay. Okay, so we get this little touch up here at around 15. And then we come back down. Potentially do a spring setup towards that June 3rd area, right? Where I do not believe, guys, that we will be going up on June 3rd. I know there's a lot of hype on that, but there's no point of interest on the cycle. And you guys know that we track the cycle here. I'm very firm with that. I'm not trying to spread any FUD or anything. That's the least I want to do. But I do want to be realistic that on a setup like this, typically, you know, we would have seen, right, first of all, this projector sustain that resistance and support level to confirm that point of interest that was back here. So the next one that I'm looking at here is going to be on the mid-June area, and that should potentially take us all the way up to 22. But we'll be tracking that as time goes by. Right now, what I'm looking at is something like this. Okay. All right. And these typically do bounce up. You rarely see these continue on the downside. So I would be surprised. I mean, and we can get a spring too, but yeah, this setup looks so bullish to me. We might get it here, guys. We might get it here, and this thing starts going. If you guys saw the weekly scenario, does call for an early rise, followed by a Thursday around there. We start going down, or Wednesday, right? We have the Fed minutes coming out as well, so that potentially could be a catalyst that brings the market down or up in the short term. So it would look a little bit like this, right? So this would have been the weekly scenario as we go all the way up to 15. We start coming back down here like that, and we complete this wedge, right? Or we start forming this macro wedge. That is what things are looking like here best. All right. Okay. Yeah, May should be fun, bro. May is still in play. But if you follow me on Twitter, I also said that the next half, so that the next half of the year would be a rally is what we're potentially looking at, and May's not over yet. I believe that May is the start, right? Is the start of a potential market reversal, because I don't think we're near a market crash. I think an actual market crash wouldn't take place for another couple of years. I think this is a correction, is what's happening. Now, the levels that I'm looking at currently for like the SPY, okay, so we'll go here on, and I'll show you guys. A pattern I was just tracking was this one. And this is a fractal pattern. Now, these, look at how these fib levels are put in place. They're like pretty spot on here. So this would be calling for actually, yeah, this like 380, possibly that 375 or 374 area that we were talking about last week as well. Even if there was one more dip here in the short term, I believe that June and July we will have a reversal. I think it's going to be a V reversal, and then probably a continuation here to all-time highs within the year. So I think this was a correction, and I think the market is ready to start going back up. So yeah, man, it's, you know, half of the year, yeah, starts in June. And, you know, we start to get that reversal. Typically what happens, and this is why I believe that the next point of interest for AMC is not until mid-June, because once we start that rally, that market rally, typically meme stocks do lag a little bit behind. There will be a market rally, and then once it's at its peak, you'll start to see meme stocks go up. That would be the start on this macro reversal. Okay. And what does that look like? Well, if you guys saw the last video, we talked about a couple of other points of interest. So this is what it's potentially what I'm looking for. Now, a lot of people had questions on like, why are these so low? Okay, like these don't have to necessarily be respected. These are levels that I'm looking at. These are just points of interest, guys. So the patterns don't necessarily have to play out this way, okay? There could be something like this, right, where this spikes up, continues to go up, you know? Like, it does not have to look like a fucking, you know, ascending wedge. This is just tracking these points of interest that we have here, okay? That's it. What's up, Devin? How you doing, man? All right, we might start seeing a little bit of a reversal here on Amy. Ethereum Classic seems to be taking a break. Man, this pattern is so reminiscent on Ethereum Classic. It could, man. Ethereum Classic, I think, still has a little bit more room to go. Let's go on the minute chart. Look at what's going on. Oh, you can tell right off the bat, right? They start tracking. And then right around here is where things are, all right, turning around here for Amy. And, well, obviously Ethereum. So this, to me, what this could possibly be is, if you guys remember the first run-up, and this one seems to be a shorter type of run. I don't see, you know, things going up the same way as last time, right? We were calling for a 25% week. What that means is that from the lows, guys, when I post these scenarios, consider that the percentage that I post is not from when the market opens and then, you know, we're going up 25% from there. No, it's from a low that's calculated, okay? going up from that low to reach that high. Okay, that's why depending on the scenario, you'll see the actual percentage not begin until there is a candle that's hit a low point, right? So 25% would be from around the $12 range to the 15 range. That would be 25% increase, and that is what I'm looking at. At this point, it would be more, right? It would be about 28%, 27%, since we're at 1164. Okay, so where's that pattern that we were trying to track here? It would be about probably this one here. Make it into a fractal. Something like that. Could potentially go up all the way up here, come back down, and start going up again. Now, if it did this, that would be a pretty nasty increase, though. Let's see. 15% from here. Now, that'd be like 60%. I don't think this would be happening here. Nah, I think the max I would see here on Ethereum Classic would be, let's see, let's take the fibs. Support resistance. So we did kind of cross like right here right now. So if this continues to push up, there might be room for a little bit more, but I guess we'll see. We'll kind of track here Ethereum Classic as it moves. But it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty fucking good. Yeah, so it's now just like sort of breaking out. All right. Yes, Mullen's another one that I'm tracking. Good. So this one has, and I'm tracking a lot of different scenarios for Mullen here, but I do see it going up in the next couple of weeks. Could be this week, guys. Could be next week. But this thing was shorted back to its basically low levels here. Not 50 cents, but it did get to that 75-cent area. So I do see a potential reversal here. There was a lot of shorts that jumped in on this play. So you guys know that typically the way this works is, what's going on with this music right here? Not that it's bad or anything. I'm just like, that ain't the playlist I had, bro. Okay. So what I see in the short term is, well, we are in this little wedge, and Mullen seems to be ahead of the game, right? So we were tracking this against AMC. I would say that this is right now ahead, right? Like Mullen would go up first. Now, I have a theory here, and I believe that since there is so much hype for June 3rd, that they might, okay, even if it came down here, before testing this, because it's about to break this resistance, and that typically is pretty ugly here. It's just narrowing down like so much. There's a catalyst apparently that's supposed to be coming out. Now remember, I believe that with cycles, catalysts are they're part of cycles. I believe they come out according to a cycle. Whether fucking the administration or CEOs or whatever know, that is conspiracy, right? Like we don't fucking, we'll deal with that because we don't know, all right? But there is, if we can track cycles, I'm sure there's people out there that know that there's cycles and they're tracking them as well, okay? So If that is the case here, and there is a catalyst coming out, then this could potentially kick things off and bring the price back up to possibly that $2 range here in the short term. Now, if things continue to go up, we could see a W, right, reversal, and that would be insane. Right, we would kind of have to have an EV sort of rally here in the game, right, with like basically everything. Like you gotta have the market going up, you gotta have Tesla going up, you have to have, you know, Lucid, Workhorse, Canoe, all these guys in the game having a rally to potentially, you know, have Mullen go up as well. And we know that Mullen is treated as a meme stock. So typically when you are, you know, trading against these cycles, you'll have like meme stocks in between their sectors sort of trade against each other. So this is why we had, you know, with crypto last week, right, we had BBIG going up, and crypto was sort of making up its mind, just trading sideways after hitting a low point. So I think naturally you're going to get some of those crypto stocks going up because, you know, there's a lot more volatility at the bottom, right? So I think it's the same thing here. I think EV is kind of ready for a another rally here. Tesla has been shorted to the ground, right? So I potentially, you know, if those start to go up, we might get to see Mullen going up too. All right, so I'm tracking this in the next, again, give it a couple of weeks. Major point of interest is June 17th, but in between there are multiple spikes in the algorithm, so I can see this starting to climb in the short term. Yes, I had a lot of questions on BBBY, so we're going to do BBBY as well. So BBBY does have a point of interest, and the point of interest is actually a week's length. So anywhere from now until June 3rd, there is a point of interest on BBIG. Whether that's the upside or downside, there is volatility that I was picking up on the cycle I was tracking. So let me see if I can pull it up. I think on Cycle Tracker. Now, the thing with BBIG, and this is why it's important to track this, is it has been shorted, guys. It hasn't had room to go up the same way as GameStop or AMC here in the short term. Like, we started, right, we had our little rally here in March, okay, and you know that with BBIG, it's more, there's more volatility here. Typically, once the price goes, this thing will go up like 100%, right, in a matter of, you know, 2-3 days. So it's a little bit different than AMC and GameStop. So I think after having, you know, this short attack here for a couple months, you're gonna see something similar like AMC did right back here. So these, even though they go up on the macro of things together, right, these dates, AMC, GameStop, BBIG, BB, Sundial, typically will all go up drastically, but in between they do trade against each other, and that's what we have to focus on here. That's why there's a point of interest, because, you know, when you see AMC going down and GameStop, these guys you know, tend to have their turn, right? Same with like Ethereum Classic, right? You start to see AMC go down and then it has its rally, right? So I do see something happening here in the next week. Well, let's hope it's not to the downside, right? Because it has been beat to the ground. And typically, when you are very, very close, you know, to that bottom, you know, you're not that far off from just creating a new bottom. Now, I personally don't see that happening, but there still is there still is that possibility. So just keep that in mind. But this is one that I've been tracking as well, and this is an exciting one because, again, when it does go up, higher returns in the short term, and if AMC is not doing anything, if GameStop is not doing anything, then this is an opportunity in the short term, right? I wouldn't say that this is one of those like squeeze plays where it's like, all right, I'm putting my money in on this instead of GameStop or AMC. No, hell no. in the short term, yes. Specifically myself, I do trade a lot of options with plays like this. I don't. The majority of how I trade just stocks in general, I'm more invested more than anything on options, because there's more leverage, there's more money to be made on options, in my opinion. But again, it's a way, if you know how to track a cycle, it's a way to make money if you know when to get in and when to get out, right? What's up, Tickles? My guy. How you doing, man? Missed you too. Missed you guys all. Missed you guys all. Make sure you guys leave a like if you haven't already. Smash that like button. Like you mean it. Like you mean it. Am I on BBIG calls? No, I am not. I don't believe BBIG. Again, I could be wrong, but the tracking we were doing for BBIG has already had its turn. Let me pull up the bars pattern if I still have it on here. I should. You guys see that? Both turns here, and this thing, I have to shift it every single time. Okay, up, up, okay. You guys can tell right off the bat that the tracking we did here played out. I mean, we've been tracking this since this fall down here on March 30th. So we got the first point of interest and the second, which was a cup, and now there's this handle, right? Now, this is where I believe that two things could happen, right? We can stray away from the current tracking that we're doing. And guys, I don't just use the patterns. I actually use a cycle tracker for this that points out these levels of volatility that have happened in the past previously, right? I look at this, I look at the option chain, I look at the crypto space, I look at everything to do with this sector to make these, first of all, figure out these price targets, mainly with the option chain and fib levels, and then a good sort of lead here would be to track a pattern or a similar pattern that has played out in the past, preferably in the same, like realm of things, which is memes, right? And this is a GameStop pattern that we're tracking here. Typically, when you have hedge funds or market makers that are on the same game and they're shorting the same stocks, you will see them track very similarly to their portfolio, right? So, and that's why you see these tracking against each other. So here with this pattern, this is just one part of it, but the continuation of this pattern, what does it look like? It looks like this, okay? There's downside. Now, okay, let me line this up again. I don't like to repeat myself, guys, but for those of you that don't know, TradingView likes to shift your charts. If like any time frame that you are not on, when you go back into the chart, it will shift it. It's annoying. It's pissy, but it is what it is. Okay, so now that we have this, there's this guy right here. Okay, again, you got that cup without a handle, right? So this is where two things could happen. We either stray away and we start doing something else here. There's a new, because that's what happens with fractals. Okay, fractals will give up at some point. And that's just something that we need to understand here. Is like some in between, not everything is going to track, right? Like, I mean, you guys can tell right off the bat that even though these points of interest line up, right? Like you have a run here. It's the GameStop run. You have one right here, right? But what happens in between, right? It doesn't follow the full pattern here. It's being shorted completely after it's, the first initial run, right? You got that run, and then it's getting shorted, right? It's not following the sequence, this pattern. So it's the same thing back here. It doesn't have to completely follow what's happening, and you just need to consider that, right? So if things do start to climb up here in the short term, we might actually see it completely stray away and do something else. So, but personally, I think once, this is played out already, there's no reason to continue to track the point of interest, because there's been two volatility spikes here on BBIG, and typically Okay, typically when there is a lot of volatility and you start to see the volume decrease, okay, you will, like, it will continue, okay, until it gets to a lower point. We've seen this happen with most crypto stocks. Okay, BBIG is a newer one, but if you guys were back in on SOS a while back, the same thing happened. And this one sucked. It sucked pretty bad for a lot of people, because this was also a meme stock that people were tracking, and there is a lot of money that was lost here on options, okay? So this is why I'm very, very careful with these stocks, because once they do have their little, you know, pumps, they typically do dump, okay? Just be careful with that. Here's kind of a scenario here as well. Got a similar action right here, price action, right? Go up, you make your cup, and then it just continues to go back down, right? And in between, you have volatility. You have your spikes. You can gain off of that volatility if you're playing options or if you're buying a lot of shares. But for a long-term hold or stuff like that, these are typically not the best case, right? Especially right now in a market that is not quite, you know, where it needs to be. We don't know where it's going to go. Another example is Any. This one was huge. Same thing. Very much, yeah, very much so. Again, going up to that, you know, $12 range at some point, and then it just got shorted completely to the ground, right? And where do I think we are right now on BBIG? I think we're like right here or right here, okay? So BBIG is behind on all of these stocks. It's like way behind. But again, I could be wrong, and I know that there is there's a catalyst coming out, I think today or tomorrow on BBIG. So we'll see what happens, man. But right now, I think for me, it's more of a riskier play than anything. But you know what? If it starts going up, I'm rooting for it, man, and I'm rooting for you guys. I think that's the best plan. But I think it's really important, guys, that when you are tracking stocks, that you stick to ones that you're more familiar with, just because you kind of know how the price action works. I think, you know, I have a lot more experience here with AMC, GameStop, the ones in the same sector. Even though I am tracking these other stocks, I'm more comfortable and would be more comfortable paying attention to what's going on here, right? And then once certain points of interest have played out on the other stocks, it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to be looking at the stock, give it a little bit of time to just chill, rest out, and then go back in on that play whenever I see things, you know, whenever I see confirmation in certain levels that I'm tracking, right? So, you know, let's say BBIG starts to go up, right? Like drastically. Well, if that's the case, then I'd be like, all right, how am I going to, you know, dissect this chart now that these two levels have played out on that pattern? Where is this tracking now on, you know, in another universe, I guess you could say, right? It's not going down anymore. It's not tracking anymore. So where can this go? And then we'll look at it again, and I'll be like, all right, this is the next pattern that we're tracking. This is what the option chain is looking like. These are the levels I'm looking at, and then we'll go from there, right? But right now, I want to see this. I want to see this play out, either a continuation to the downside or a breakout, and then we'll see, right? What's up, sub? Sub the ass. What up? Joe. What's up, my guy? Armin. What's up, dude? Let's see what we're doing here in the market. Let's pull up the... Okay, Ethereum Classic going back up. The SPY did take a breather. It did come back down. So this one is really risky, and there were a couple of people asking about this as well, but I I would be very. This is a very risky situation. I know people like playing earnings, and this is not financial advice, guys, but Zoom does have a earnings report at market close. So this is one that a lot of people are currently tracking now. This has been shorted, man, to the ground. Now, this is one of those like sort of reverse psychology plays where I think it's like this is why I think it's very risky, okay? Because yes, it looks like naturally you would think like, oh, everybody's going to buy calls, right? Because it's at the bottom. But in fact, I think there's actually right now there's more put pressure. So the call to put ratio right now is completely skewed to the put side. So there's a lot more puts on this play right now. And this is where the sort of it's like reverse psychology, like back and forth, bro. I don't know. It's super weird. But, you know, sure, it does have more room to go. But I have a feeling, man, that this is going to go up. I don't know why. I have a feeling that Zoom is going to go up. And it's going to be bad for these shorts who are in on this play. Because, bro, like, this thing went from 500 and fucking $80, okay, to 89 is right now, $88. All right, and this, if there's like, I mean, it's had good earnings. I don't think it's had bad earnings, dude. Let's see. Yeah, these are all green, okay? They've all been good earnings, and then, I mean, dude, the price still goes down, right? There's more to earnings, right? Personally, I did not see Zoom being one of those, like, you know, stocks that's sort of beating in the game or anything. Like, this was more of a COVID stock, right? Because everything's virtual. Now, I don't know, if they got something going on here where things do start to pick up, maybe there is a catalyst that will make this sort of squeeze here in the short term. We'll see, though. But yeah, dude, this is just a nasty fucking projector. Like, if you guys are familiar with projector patterns, this is a fucking projector right here. And, bro, like, it's at a bottom, dude. It is at a bottom. I guess we'll see. Again, be careful if you're in on this play. I have a feeling it's going to go up, but it can definitely just tank, like, you know, like last week. What do we have? Or 2 weeks ago. Upstart. This one was, like, gross, okay? It went from $94 to, like, 25, dude. I think the put options here were, like, 15 cents. And there wasn't any more on the option chain. Like, dude, there was not any more on the option chain. Like, these motherfuckers, if you bought one for like $15, you would have like $2,000, man. From $15 to like $2,000 right there. And yeah, this is one of those setups where this thing got also shorted to the ground from 400, right, to around that 98 level, and it continued to go down. But I think this stock still had a little bit of room to go. I don't think that's the case with Zoom. I just as much as people hate this stock right now because, well, we're not in COVID times, that's just how the market works, man. The market sometimes just does the complete opposite of what retail or, you know, the majority wants it to do. And I think they pre-planned for that. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, Amy is going down with the markets. Oh yeah, bank stocks are like, dude, they're so fucking high right now, too. Like JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, all those guys. Oh my god, bro. They are having a rally right now. All right, let's take a look at the SPY. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty go. So what I'm looking for a confirmation for this to flip, like completely. Once we cross, and there's a couple of trend lines here that I put out. There's 3. Major one that we have to cross in the short term is this one. Okay, so once we cross this, and I think, you know, we're either going to hit this today or tomorrow. I do believe we're going to hit it. And this across here, you know, does not, like, bro, across here essentially kicks things off. Okay, because this is a major level of resistance that we have not crossed since April 20th. And typically on the SPY, you know, that is it has rejected this thing 3 times already. So a cross here, you know, means we're not far off from 410, means we're not far off from 430. Now, like, this is where it gets interesting, because we go up, let's say we actually do have a rally to like 430, right? And we stick on this range. We could potentially trade sideways here for a little bit before making a decision, right? Because here, if things are going to be symmetrical, you could extend them for a little while. You could, if you have the liquidity to do so. And this is where I think a lot of people would kind of get like confused, because it's like, all right, what are we going to do? Are we going to dump again? Are we not going to dump again? And I think this is really going to be a scary moment for a lot of people. And I think that's what they want here. So it goes 2 ways. We either get a full reversal here and this thing just goes, or we trade sideways for a little bit. But if that's the case, guys, I do see the 430 range probably by like June time here, like early June 7th, if this thing does continue to rise. And then across from here, I mean, that, like, we're not far off from you know, from these other levels of resistance. So we'll see when we hit them. But yeah, what a, like, the SPY, we're at like top 3 here for record on 7 weeks going with red. We haven't seen that in the markets for a while, since like the 80s or something. So we made it on that list. I think if we see like 2 more, we'll be like top of the list, which I think are just scare tactics, in my opinion. Because I still think, man, we're gonna have a rally. I still think we're gonna have a rally. Yes. Let's go to AMC. And I want to show you guys something here, because, all right, we're looking at this chart here. I'm going to pull up Ethereum Classic on the bottom so you guys can see why potentially we're going to get that, you know, liquidity transfer here in the short term. If you guys look at both of these, okay. Actually, this has to be on the minute. No. All right. Oh, fuck. Here we go. Yeah, I think that looks about right. Okay, so where do I think we are here right now on AMI? So if we kind of line this up together, again, we saw a low point here, and the price Okay, it's stuck around this range. So like we're currently right around here. Okay, if let's say we're like May 21st. That's about we know that currently we track about 2 to 3 days behind Ethereum Classic. Now Ethereum Classic started going up early today, so before the market opened, right? So we might see this take into place here in the next couple of days, probably by the 25th, if anything. So that this could indicate that maybe Wednesday is going to be a bullish setup for the SPY. And right now, maybe we're getting that downturn side of things. So instead of going up early in the week, we'll go up midweek, right? But still, even on this setup, okay, it's still calling for that $15 level, right? Because we have this macro wedge that we're trying to complete here. Right, $15. Probably a little bit quicker than that. Like that. And then you got your little wedge. I think it'll be a lot quicker though. I don't think it's going to be that slow. So let's track the fib levels again. Remember what I said, that with the 618, really any fib level, rarely will we just touch it and then go up. It happens, but rarely are we just going to, touch that 1145 and then go up. So I see here on this setup, and then, if we touch it right now, we go to, let's say that 1125, I think from there we would get a reversal, right? We do have a little tiny gap right here, but that's the least of my worries right now, I think. Okay, let's go on the 15-minute. Let's see what we got. Yeah, 1125 around there, and then possibly either a spring setup here in the afternoon, and then going up tomorrow, or a little bit more sideways pressure into Wednesday, and then going up on Wednesday. Have I seen some of the videos on Extreme? He tracks like certain patterns, right? He does something similar, I think, to what we do here on this channel, which, I mean, I use, so for pattern tracking, well, I use something that's cyclical, right? Something that reoccurs on a cycle that doesn't change. And we're going to update the cycle here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But, and then we use patterns to sort of, we use patterns because you can do the traditional, right? Like draw your lines, figure out what you're dealing with, right? What patterns do is that, well, they do repeat themselves on every scale, right? Fractals. And they're a good tool to sort of track what the possibilities are in the future, right? It doesn't confirm that completely, but typically with manipulated stocks, since there's an algorithm running, you will see things repeat themselves, very orchestrated compared to like other stocks, right? So yeah, just it's a good way to sort of confirm a setup or confirm things if you're tracking, the cycle, right, that we track here, and then also what's going on in the option chain, the implied volatility, all that stuff is very important to do with the cycle. But I think one of the most important things and why things track here sometimes is because of option expiration dates and how these guys are hedging their way through, because that is essentially what is controlling the price action. There's, patterns are just one thing, but the actual, volatility involved with this play and how they're, manipulating the price action has everything to do with the option chain. So we do that a lot here as well. Now I'm gonna pull up the cycle so you guys can see what's going on right now. Okay, so the last point of interest that we tracked, and this is the cool thing about the cycle, right? So this cycle was really interesting because, well, we basically got the identical happening here. And remember, we look at the 30-minute chart here on the micro only if the algorithm is working like overtime. And I say this a lot because when the algorithm is working, overtime, you start to see things tracking very similarly. For example, like this had just happened here, right? This whole red section basically tracked identical to the cycle. And we even got a point of interest that, guys, if you made money on this, like, I'm very happy for you. I think a lot of people were saying they made money. So this is one of the things that we do, right? This is where we track the cycle because we see a pattern of very closely related to the 62-day cycle that repeats itself every 2 months. So it's when things start tracking inverse, we'll see that and we'll acknowledge it, and we'll it's a good way to predict the macro direction right at the beginning and right at the end, right? So right now we're in this space, and this is where I do not use the 30-minute chart because now things are straying away from the algorithm. Okay, so now what we do is we pull back, we go on a macro level, and I'll talk about this in a little bit here. We do use the cycle curve. So the cycle curve is what we should be using in the first place. It gives you a good idea of where you're likely to be in the short term. So here, I do see, and again, we're at different price levels, so you have to consider a setup like this back here, right? See how we go down, but it's very tiny because we're dealing with, very low levels. So you're not going to see something like this. It's going to be very small, but it's still going to be pretty drastic because, a price run from 12 to 15 is still 25%, right? But back here, it might look this big. And that's why I think a lot of people use log. Log is cool. But log, I can't use log because it does not work with a lot of the patterns that we're tracking, and it does not work with technicals that we track on AMC as well. So I don't use that specifically for that reason. But it's a good way to see the price action if you're trying to take a look at something that happened, back here compared to what happened back here, right? Clearly see what's happening, so it's cool. All right, let me talk about this real quick, this cycle thing here. So this is the gold. This is where I believe that if things continue to track the way they are, so we are tracking the points of interest here, this would be that October 5th scenario. If things do not if the price does not go up when we're tracking here, which is July 29th, we did talk about if this is going to be like a similar setup to GameStop before it ran up, it would look like this, okay? Yeah, that's a similar setup to GameStop. And this is a similar time frame as well. If you take the GameStop pattern, it took about the same time, okay, before a downtrend to get a low, and then, before these guys could really do anything to stop, the squeeze from happening. So here, based on the cycle, we would see 2 points of interest before things start to kick off. This would be considered the squeeze already, because this would be the projector, right? So here we have the late July, and then we have mid-June time, okay? Now, this has been put up here for a week, so things, since we got this little wedge here, things have been playing out nicely. And again, I do see that $15 range here in the short term. So hopefully we get that here in the next couple days. before we get shorted again, right? Because I don't think we are going to go up on June 3rd. For those of you that are curious, I just don't see that realistically happening. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm still gonna fucking be here and we're gonna fucking rally because that's what we fucking do, okay? But I'm being very cautious with the play, okay? Because I know how these guys do it from a psychological perspective. May 3rd is way too predictable. The executive order that is going into play, again, this is not FUD or anything. I'm just being realistic with you guys. It reminds me of FTD's, failure to delivers, in the sense that there is a date put in place that everybody knows. And what people are missing to understand here is that you have a time frame. Okay, these hedge funds, it's not like they're waiting for the last minute to cover everything, right? They have a space in between where they can distribute and come up with a plan. That's the problem here. This executive order that's going into play, they've had a year, okay? They've known this for a year, okay? That piece of paper, if you look into it and you read it, it came out back here on June 3rd, and its expiration is on June 3rd. So that doesn't mean, you know, that they're fucked and they're gonna have to cover on that date, because they've known that. If they came up with a plan, which I think they did because there's a cycle, then there is somebody controlling the price action. There's somebody coming up with these strategies, and they know that this is going to be something that retail is going to talk about, something that is going to be trending on what's happening here. So that's why you know, I'm treating this with caution, because I don't want to get my hopes ripped away like they have been before, and it has been something that we've seen in the past. Okay. Not only that, guys, but again, the setup is not there. If these guys really just waited till last minute, you have to ask yourself why. If they're trying to stay undercover, they would not wait till last minute. They would do it somewhere in the cycle that makes absolutely no sense. From a retail's perspective, right, where you're kind of not expecting it, which would have kind of happened around this range. Not a lot of people were expecting it anyways. It makes sense on a technical level, and I think they would still be, you know, on that undercover range. Down here, you're not, because the technicals don't make sense. And then also, June 3rd is also the anniversary, right, of the June run-up. So there would be so many, too many eyes on these guys, you know, to do something that predictable, that stupid. Again, not saying it's impossible. I just don't see it being a likely scenario. And that's just me being realistic with you guys. I mean, and this is the only way I could see us going up on June 3rd, like, to squeeze. Okay, and by the way, guys, just so there's no, like, misunderstanding here, I'm not saying, okay, that the price cannot go up on this date. Okay, it could, potentially, we could go up on that date to pretty high levels. But I'm not, there's a lot of people calling for a squeeze on that date where, you know, we just go and we squeeze. And even, you know, some people calling for higher levels like 40 or 50, which again, it's not impossible. I don't see it being a likely scenario on this current setup. Now, the only way that would happen, okay, is, and this is where I have a little bit of like trouble, sort of, and this is why I stay very skeptical with it, right? I keep an open mind, I do, but this is an exec order, right? So it's not coming from the federal government, it's coming from the actual government, right? Joe Biden's got to sign that shit, put it into play. So it sort of does, on the positive side of things, look a little bit better than if it was something that was being released by the SEC, right? Because we've known that the SEC is not really on our side here, or they haven't been, and you know, you kind of lose, you know, trust on the system there. The government might be a different thing, even though I still believe that they play a huge role in sort of stuff like this. So potentially, you know, if things do happen, you know, and they do start to go up, I would think, all right, maybe the government opened the gates. Maybe they were the ones that allowed this to happen, and things, you know, and there has to be a reason behind everything, right? Again, seems a little sketchy to me. Even if the government were to allow something like this, and it's sort of like pre-planned, it looks and sounds very illegal, and that's why I'm still sort of, you know, more on the skeptical side than anything. So take that with caution for sure. But I just want to see I'm waiting out to see what the current setup is. Now we start to see, you know, this thing go up here and start to pass these like major levels of resistance. You know, I'm still gonna consider the fact that if things are playing out inverse on June 3rd, this could be one of those like earning types of plays, right? Where they bring the stock up before in like an event or a catalyst, and then they short it back down, right? So I guess we'll see what happens, guys. But be very careful with that. The reason I talk about this is because I know how things have played out in the past. I know people get hurt and upset, and right now there is a lot of hype about this date. A lot of people that do believe the price is going to go up to drastic levels, and I think that people should be careful, okay? Because you never know, man. You just never know. Yeah, they've had a lot of time to prepare for this. A lot of time. And you know, I think part of the reason why we had this major event right here, guys, was because of that. Okay, this was a close date, and that was part of the sequence. Okay, remember that we tracked on the cycle, and I think to expect something to happen when it doesn't, what does this do? Well, their goal here, okay, and we're talking about Composite Man, right? Which is the institution, the puppet master that is playing this game between retail and shorts. If they're controlling the price action, okay, they are going to find a way to shake off as many people, retail, out of this play until there's very little left. And the very little are the ones that are going to, you know, make their money in the end. Imagine, okay, and this is not FUD because the cycle isn't put in place on purpose. These guys are long. Remember, I don't believe that you can do anything. Okay, I don't believe that volume, especially at these levels, once coming down from 77, there's not the same amount of hype that there was back here or back here. Okay, so we know that. We know that they have money to control what's going on here, Composite Man. And they're playing with shorts and retail, right? So if that is the case, guys, we need to understand that, you know, they know that the short squeeze is inevitable. They're just waiting to see how long it takes because they have all the time in the world. They don't need to just, bro, they're making money doing this, okay? You know, these larger institutions, they're making money. They're stealing from Citadel. They're stealing from you. They're stealing from me. And they're making all this cash until the technicals can't do anything else, until they've shaken off as many people as they can. And then they're just going to shoot this thing up. Once it sets up, once it's ready to go, they'll give it a green light, and this thing will go, man. And then from there, they wiped off a bunch of shorts. So now, I mean, what does this become, guys? It's just capitalism at the end of the day, right? These guys are taking down major institutions that got themselves in a situation that they shouldn't have in the first place. So in a way, it's a really fucked up, just, you know, way to do it, but these guys, you know, even though they're not on our side or their side, they're just kind of in the middle, but they're playing with us and they're playing with them. So it's fucked. It's super fucked. But it is what it is, man. That's what you do when you got all the money in the world, right? Control the system. So yeah, don't let them shake you. All right, guys, let's see what is going on. See how the spy's looking now. Oh, if you guys are also interested in looking at the charts, there's updated charts on the website now. I've fully updated all the charts. And there's also the weekly scenario if you want to look at that on the website. You just got to click the link below. So yeah, the point of interest section that I've been promising you guys forever now, and it's not up yet. Again, it's in play. I'm not gonna give a date right now, just because I really wanna polish this thing to where it is useful, and it's not you know, you don't want to put something out, guys, at the end, like if it's going to help you guys in the end, I'm putting it out so that it's giving you both sides of the play, right? Because a point of interest does not indicate upside automatically. It also indicates the possibility of downside, and I want to make that very clear. So, you know, I'm not going to put out something that's just bullish all the time. I want to put out something that gives you a way to look at the stock, so that you know, you could see its possibilities, scenarios, if it does go down or not, and that way you can look at things a little bit better. I don't want to just, you know, put something out that is going to be bullish, because that is just not how it works. And this is, by the way, a point of interest section on the website that is going to have cycles that are tracking against AMC and GameStop, and when their points of interest that I'm tracking do come into play, so that you guys can better track that. Okay, we've seen this happen multiple times with tracking, you know, Atarian, BBIG, okay, Mullen, AMC, GameStop. We've been tracking a bunch of points of interest that have played out. So I do want to post that out for many other stocks, and that way maybe you guys can come up with a strategy and make your money, right? At the end of the day, that's just what I want. So patience. I'll have it out. I will. Is it stuck again? I don't know what's going on, man. Why is the price just... Oh, you know what? It might be because I have multiple screens open. There we go. It should work now. Yo. Okay, another thing here, guys, to note is the magnetic. Oh, actually, yeah, I haven't gone over this yet. We'll start with one, and then we'll go over the other. I'm gonna go over the magnetic parallel channel, and I'm gonna go over the regression cycle, because I updated these. Oh, look at that. It's playing out. It's playing out pretty nicely, actually. So this is the updated regression trend. You guys can tell that everything looks a lot neater. I just wanted to clean it up so you guys can clearly see what's going on. What these arrows are, for those of you that are not in on the channel, they're just little magnets. They pull the price up or down, and they are spaced apart exactly according to their cycle, right? So some of these are spaced out 2 months apart, some of them are spaced out 3 months apart, and some of them are spaced out 4 months apart. So they all follow the same sequence, right? So blue to blue is going to be the same time frame as blue to blue, and vice versa, right? With all these different ones. So the current setup here we have, and this is why this is the next point of interest, right? This is where I get most of the points of interest that play out, guys. This is the blue point of interest here, and it's going to be around that mid-June time going into the week of the 21st. I see GameStop actually going up higher around that date, but I still think that AMC is going to go up. Now, AMC here, even though the price is down here, doesn't have to go up to just 17 bucks. Could potentially come up and hit this range back here at 22 to hit resistance and then bounce back. It really depends on what these guys have in play. But until we get closer to this date, you know, I won't be giving out a price target. But it is that point of interest site that we're tracking. Now, we know how dangerous this resistance line is because once it is crossed, we have not crossed this, guys, since we got shorted back in June. It's been over a year. It's been about a year now, and we have not crossed that level, right? So when we do, and this is why I believe that going into that, you know, week of July, that last week of July going into August, that could potentially be that projector that we're waiting for that kicks things off and takes us up, right? Either on July and we just go to a higher level, or we get a, you know, similar setup to GameStop where it takes us up and sets its sort of, you know, SOS sort of phase, which is just sideways pressure. Here, the same thing GameStop did before it went up. It slowly climbed up before it couldn't really take any more pressure, and it just did a little SOS, and then it just went, right? That could potentially be the case, or we just go right at end of July. So we'll keep tracking this. Now, we also have the, where is it? Magnetic parallel channel. And this is the one I'm excited for because we are reaching that 120-day mark right here. And what happens after this mark, guys, every single time? Something new happens, okay? Back here, we were outside of the zone. There's two occasions, right? We have a larger occasion here and a smaller one. Here, we just went, right? From a bottom trend, we just went. This fractal, yes, it does line up with what is going on back here. Now, it doesn't mean, however, right, that this is going to happen. Okay, it just means that that's part of a point of interest, but it's one that inversely goes with what happened in June. So you would typically with this, you would see the opposite happen on the cycle. This is why I'm not, you know, bullish for June 3rd as well. It's because this cycle doesn't call for that. It calls for something different. Actually, on a setup like this, you would see more of a sideways pressure like this. Okay, something like this back here. So even if the price does come back up and goes into this channel, this parallel channel, which is respected every year, okay, somehow it manages to go back into this channel. Okay, we see it happen back here, and back here, and that's a year apart. Even after having this massive rally, it just gravitated back towards this channel, right? So what are we going to do right here? Are we going to go back up into this channel? Or are we going to stay down here, right? And then, you know, slowly come back into the channel. What are we going to do? We're going to find out soon because the mark here is the 24th. The 24th is when typically something drastic happens. So I guess, you know, this might kind of go with the current setup that we have here on this wedge. You know, if things do go back into the channel, we trade on that zone. But again, to me, it looks to me like we're getting a similar setup to what happened back here, and we're gonna be down on this range right now. If that's the case, then what would this look like, right? Well, you put this back here, and what does this line up with? Lines up with the cycle. Right? Right here. So that is why, again, you have this, you know, highlighted in gold, because it's very likely that if we reach this range back here, and using fibs as well, guys, this was the next macro projection here. All of these line up with big runs. Okay? this is a mid phase here. It's right in between. That, you know, that happens to be the July time as well. Why we might have some upside here. Larger projector. But right at the beginning, okay, is when we see the larger runs happen. Okay, so this happens to line up with that late September, early October time, which would be the next level, right? If things don't happen right here, right, which would be like tomorrow, then this would indicate, right, that the most likely scenario would be towards July. So we gotta keep an eye out for this and track it. But you know, I know, guys, how like some people were also saying this, that we do look very similar, right, to that June, like, you know, this cycle back here. I see that. Okay, I see that. But we're also back here. We also had GameStop doing exactly what I think we're going to do back here, which was slowly climbing, taking up other stocks with it. You know, even though AMC was going down, you have to consider that the price was very cheap here, a lot, and more attractive than it is now. Okay, in the markets, $1.90 is a lot different from $12. Okay, and that takes into you need to consider that when it comes to the price action going up. So, you know, I know, you know, these two patterns look very similar. Yeah, I see that. But, you know, again, it's doesn't mean that just because two patterns look the same that they're going to play out, right? You got to look at many, many, many other things. Man, I miss the rallies in this song. We need a rally soon, guys. Like when we like, if we go up to 15 this week, we're gonna rally for sure. Like whether that's whenever the fuck, dude. If it's after hours or tomorrow or Wednesday, I'm gonna fucking rally all day. Justin, staying positive is well, you stay positive because you know how this play works. You know that first of all, something to consider as well is that you cannot make this your priority also in life, in my opinion. I think, you know, that's one of the things that I learned once I was tracking the cycle, is that, you know, I'm not gonna let this dictate how I feel, man, because that is, I mean, you're letting this thing break you at that point. You know, if you're hoping for something to happen that just doesn't happen over and over and over again, it's gonna get to you, man, mentally. So you need to like understand that, yeah, it's a really nice opportunity, you know, and we're tracking it. It's fun, make it fun, but don't let these downturns and you know, this current situation take you down. Like, it's really important to understand that. I do believe that, and that's why, guys, you know, when I come up with these levels and these points of interest that I push out sometimes, okay, I'm very careful, okay? If I'm going to push out something that I believe is going to happen, I will push it out, and if I'm wrong, we learn from that, right? But we got to be careful in the end, because, you know, you just like, you really don't know with this play. You can make a good, educated guess if you have good DD, and yes, if you are tracking a cycle, we've known in the past that you can track these points of interest and come up with a plan to make money. Okay, we've seen that happen here with the March 29th scenario. And a couple of other ones as well. This one right here that just happened, this major volatility spike right here. So we're going to continue to track that, but you still have to have a good risk tolerance going into it at the end of the day, or else, yeah, you are going to be upset. And I mean, look, like that's what I genuinely want this channel to be, is just, this is why we rally all the time, guys, because like even when the stock goes down, some people ask me like, why are we rallying? I'm like, dude, because it's fucking fun, man. It's fun. It doesn't matter. Like, we're not calling for the squeeze right now. We're just having a good time, you know, with these peeps. You guys are cool. You guys are all cool, chill. I love you guys. This is the place to be, for sure. But, you know, I try and stay as positive as I can be, even though, you know, the weekly scenario might be a bearish one. Like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're still rooting for Amy to go up, right? It's just a play, man. It's just a play. What's up, Wesley? Oh, okay, we got shields. For sure. You know what? Most of you, man. I mean, you guys are awesome. For real. Seriously, you guys keep it clean, you keep it cool. You guys are, like, you know where it's at. You know what's up. And that's what matters. That's what matters to me. You know, you get your little shills in between, you know, but you know how to, we know how to react to that. It's all good. $396. The spy. Okay. Oh wow, look at that. This is currently in a oof, wow, look at that. It's like it wants, it potentially, yeah, dude, this thing fucking wants 400, man. Look at that. We're in a, this is a rising wedge. Well, here, I mean, what the fuck? Why did it do that? Okay. Technically, right here, I mean, this. Now, holy shit. It's like, would this be bullish or bearish, though, you know? In the short term, right? In the short term. That is interesting. Hasn't came down, though, so we cannot move this. Because it's just been right now, it's respecting the resistance line more than it is the support. Hasn't came down to touch support yet, so this could be a breakout here in the short term. Now, will it be a breakdown and then a bounce, like, back down? You know, we'll see. You know, you guys know how volatility works on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for the SPY, since it's got expiration, right? So something to note here is, well, we are getting closer to that 1:30 Central Time, which is a volatility zone, as well as the early 2 o'clock and then late to mid 2 o'clock time. So 2:30 to 2:40, around there. See what else is popping here. Um. All right, we might get a little pop here, man. This might be the little pop time. Yeah, the price action has been extremely weird with Amy for the past couple of weeks, really intraday. We've been seeing a lot of this, just like yeah, kind of barcoding, man. On the you know, if you're looking at it from like the 5-10 minute chart, I would say this is considered more of like barcoding. Even though, you know, barcoding, you don't, you know, you kind of see something like this, but it has been very stagnant. Okay, nothing like, not as much volatility here in the short term, so kind of makes you wonder, man. Like, there might be, you know, this could, you know, be the end to a potential rip here in the short term. Yeah, guys, smash that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you slap that ask button like you slap the ask. The ask. Who slaps the ask? I'm like genuinely curious. Do you slap the bid or the ask more? Who slaps the bid? Who slaps the ask? ASK. Ask? Nice. Yeah, I mean, not financial advice. I do tell, like myself, more than not, I will slap the ask, just because, you know, especially if you're looking at a play that is, you know, has high volatility. If it starts to kick off very quickly, you start to see, you know, not just with shares, but also with options, you start to see the price increase very quickly, and then you're like kind of hitting yourself in the foot later because it's like higher now, and it's like, well, it didn't get my bid, my limit, right? Because, well, you have a limit order in. And it's too late now, man. For that penny, for that fucking penny that you were like trying to wait for, now you're missed out, you know, on all this jazz. Oh shit, Amy, are we breaking out, baby? Guys, are we breaking out? Let's see. Let's get a resistance line here. Well, this is the current resistance here. It just broke here on the minute. Volume seems to be increasing slowly with the market, right? Alright, Amy did reject this zone twice already. Well, 1, 2, 3. 3 times from this low. So if we start to see heavy volume coming in, like if we start to see candles like this, this might indicate that the rally is beginning. Right, the rally to 15, which is what we're calling for. Say when moon. Why don't you just, bro? Say when moon. Now, dude, I, you know, when moon is more of a scenario, and track the points of interest, man. We're gonna track the points of interest, and we'll come up with a when moon if we respect those points of interest, right? I don't set anything like an actual prediction that I will post out where I'm like certain and I'm bold about that prediction. You will typically not see me talk about that until like a month prior, and that's the same thing that we did for the March 29th scenario. I posted that like a month prior to when it actually happened. So I'm gonna wait out, you know, if things continue to track. We'll first see how things are playing out, how the option chain is playing out. Look at that volume. Guys, I think we're about to rally right now. Let's fucking rally. Let's fucking rally. Throw some elephants in the chat. Let's fucking rally, bro. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while since we had a rally. Oh, shit. Amy's volume's picking up. We got elephant breakdance. Little buddy elephant breakdance. Gorillas. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's get intimate. Amy, that's a lot of volume. Alright, let's see. You got 100,000 in volume right here. Let's see if it picks up. Come on, Amy, show us what you got. Show us what you got, baby. Barcoding, baby. Let's go up. Come on. Yes. There we go. Push. Push it. Will this be the rally? Guess we'll see, guys. We will see. Amy. Ethereum Classic, are you giving up? Are you transferring over the wealth to Amy? Is it Amy's turn? I guess we'll see. I say, hey, Amy. Amy. You got rockets now? Oh yeah. You want me to change the elephant? What's wrong with the new elephant? What's wrong with the new elephant? Alright, I'll change it for you. Here we go. Gotta make the gorilla bigger, though. Oh, shit. Got Mr. Simon's favorite song. Yo. My guy Simon, what up, bro? Mr. Simon's favorite song. Are we gonna go up? Are we gonna rally? We're gonna rally with the family. What do we got? What do we got? Oh shit. Oh shit. Amy's setting up for a rippy rip. I hope. The 15. Let's go. This is it, boys. Is it? Boys and girls. Is this it? Is this it? Push, Amy. Oh, hey, dude, it's picking up, man. It's picking up. $11.71. Okay, okay. Oh, you know what I need to do, bro? You know what I need to do? I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna chill. Alright. Hold up. We're gonna keep an eye out this price action. Alright, we still got we got the whole gang here. We're hoping for this to go up here in the short term. I'm gonna pull up the ask and the bid slap right next to the price action for you guys. Hopefully I can get it in on this thing. Let's see if I can get it in. See if I can get it in. Weird. It's not what I wanted. Okay. I'm gonna get this right. I'm gonna get this right, dude. Alright, could potentially start to see a kickoff, but we'll see. The Ethereum Classic pattern is calling for in the short term in the next couple of days. Look at that. Price action's going up. Look at that. Look at that shit. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. Oh, there we go. This looks dope. Alright, I mean, you guys tell me if you want this on the screen or not, and if you do, I'll keep it up. If not, I'll take it out. Maybe when we rally, I'll have it on the screen. I think that'll be a better bet. But I got my little book here. You guys want this right here? It's the bid and the ask. Or is that, like, kind of in the way? That's kind of in the way, right? Fuck. Bro. It looks so cool, though. You got your little bid and ask. I mean, I could put it right down here and then, like, move the chart right here to the side. And then keep Dancing Gorilla right there. It's up to you, though. It's up to you, baby. Wish I could maybe, like, make it bigger. Oh, you know what? You know what I can do? I got you, baby. I got you. What if I just kept, like, right there? There we go. I gotta make it bigger. How about that? How about that, bro? How about that? That looks nice. Could be right next to you guys. I'll keep it right on top. Yeah. I gotta work on it, though, because it looks a little goofy, but for now, it'll do. You guys got the bid and the ask now. How about that? Look at this price action, dude. Yeah, we need more volume for sure. We definitely need more volume. I'll keep the bid and the ask up. We'll kind of have this right here. And for now, we can cruise it out, man, over here. There we go. That is so cool, dude. That is so fucking cool. Oh, look at that shit. Look at that shit, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that, and then maybe put a little frame or something and frame it. Holly, so the what I got going on so far, and I'm not gonna, I won't be giving out like a like an actual prediction here in the short term. What I'm looking for in the next couple of days is just, and this is just because of the setup that we have with Ethereum Classic. Typically, we do see it have a rally first, and then that liquidity gets transferred over to Amy. It's not always the case, but since we are at these levels and we have a similar setup, which is a wedge, I do see us going to 15 in the short term. So possibly if we respect this line right here and we start actually going up here, I could see us doing that tomorrow. But if we do cross down, right, we said that the fib level we were looking at was going to be around 11.25. And then from there, right, that would be our low point. We do a spring, and then we possibly go up on Wednesday, right? So between that time frame, anything after that would be a little bit strange, but it's still possible that maybe we do get our short side of the play here for the week, early in the week, and then we get our upside towards the end of the week. That's also a possibility, right? Even though the scenario does call for early in the week, we could definitely see it play out like this instead, right? Where we hit that 25, we go up here, we trade here for a little bit, until the 25th, and then we go up, right? The 25th, maybe the market rallies, and then we come back down for the following days. This would be the most ideal scenario, but we could have something, you know, else play out where, you know, we go up tomorrow, and then the 25th sucks, and we go down, and then we go up, you know, towards the end of the week. That'd be weird, but I think either scenario, I just do not see us going up for the week of June 3rd, specifically, you know, because of what we were talking about here, that typically the cycle does trade inverse around that range. So if that was the case, then we would actually start to see the price action go up earlier, right? And then after June 3rd, we would wait a couple of weeks for that point of interest, which is mid-June. Oh, you know what, bro? This is gonna be fun because we can get what's his face, Will Smith, or Rico. I guess still gotta make that Rico thing here, and then we can have him slap the ask or lick the ask. We'll see. If we got Rico in game, we'll have him lick it. If we have Will, we'll have him slap it. You know what? I'm gonna move it a little bit to the right. Because, yeah, move it, like, right here. Yeah, that way, yeah. That's good. All right. Yes, and I am. I know that I haven't fully streamed, you know, every single day. This is going to be it's going to be more frequent now for sure. I can't promise I'll be here every single day, right? But definitely will be streaming more often now for sure. Okay. So, based off of this setup for now, guys, what I see is either we bounce off of this resistance, right? We typically see this happen a lot with Amy, is like once we do cross that resistance trend line, we do come back and bounce off of it, make a little projector, and then go. Or we go back into the channel, right? It's a fake out, and then this continues to go back down. It's really one or the other. But that is really what we have going on right now. It's you know, things are pretty sideways right now, even though the market was having a rally, right? And then we're just sort of chilling down here. I think it's part of the algorithm, again. But we will see what happens here in the short term. Still looking for that $15 level here in the next couple of days, so we'll see how that goes. We are going to cut the stream, but I appreciate you guys for joining today and chilling out with the squad. I will hopefully be here tomorrow. And I will notify you guys if I do, right? If you're on the Discord, make sure you join that. I do send out the updates on there. Or if you haven't already, you click the little notification bar here, and it'll just tell you, you know, it'll tell you that I'm live, bro, and that we're gonna rally and shit. So it'll be fun. All right, guys. Have a dope rest of your day. If Amy starts to rally for whatever reason, you already know I'm gonna be back here for it, okay? Because we're not gonna miss that shit out. If we start to rally, we're gonna rally. All right, you guys see me here. All right, bye, bye, guys.